All right, welcome to the program. It is The Extra here on KRDO News Radio. I'm Paul Richards, your host, and we're thrilled to have in studio with us some guys who you're going to become very familiar with. They're the hosts of the Urban Farm and Garden Show right here on KRDO News Radio. Larry Stebbins and Craig McHugh, thanks for coming in, fellas.
Well, hey, listen, thanks for having us, Paul. This is terrific.
Loving doing this with you guys, and you brought in some bounty from the garden.
Well,
this
you got to do this. If it's a garden show, you got to bring it in, and you see what Craig brought in here.
Yeah.
Yes, I brought a chicken.
Yeah.
Yes, her name is Chick Norris.
No.
Yes. Yep.
Well, at least it's not Chick-fil-A.
That's right.
Oh, golly.
So you guys obviously very into the gardening thing, into the green thumb thing, and I've never seen bay leaves looking like this, guys.
Well, bay is a tropical kind of a tree, so it doesn't grow well outside. So we grow it in our greenhouse.
Oh, you grow it in the house.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you can get a small little bay. It looks like a plant, but it'll grow into a tree from nurseries around town, and you plant it inside and make sure it's a big enough pot to grow, and then you can harvest the leaves off, and fresh bay leaf is so good in cooking.
There's nothing like it.
Oh, it's delicious. And you saw the smell. It's just It's got this aroma that is so sweet and fragrant.
It's incredible. I mean, we just harvested some basil.
Oh, you did? Yes.
Yeah, and we've got 7 different varieties, all the way from cinnamon to anise.
Oh, my goodness. Well, you're really into this stuff. That's great.
We love it, and we just made something last night, as a matter of fact, our first batch of 7 basil pesto.
Oh, my goodness.
It was
7
unbelievable.
Basil.
Yeah, with a little camembert in there.
I'm going to have to figure out what
I'm feeling kind of left out. All I got is a chicken.
All you got is a chicken. Yeah, but you've got dinner.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right.
Come on, Chuck.
Well, Craig borrowed this chicken.
I borrowed a chicken. It's a
friend
borrowed
of
chicken.
his. So, we have to bring Chick Norris back.
That's right. She's a stunt chicken.
She's a stunt, and she's very friendly, too.
She is very friendly.
That's why we got her.
I can't wait.
Yeah, we'll have to get her out, and maybe she'll lay us an egg.
You have to get a well-behaved chicken to come into the studio.
I was going to say, and you guys are going to have to be in charge of the cleanup crew.
Oh,
well, actually, she already had a potty accident in Joanne's office, so we took care of that already.
So tell me, guys, about the show. What are you going to cover? How are you going to run the thing?
We are going to cover everything to do with urban farming and gardening, and also we really cover a lot of topics of in the news and what things are going on with the local food economy. So a little bit of everything, but and then we also do live call-ins. So it's going to be one of the first shows. Yeah, we've never done. So we've been podcasting for the last year on and we've done about 50 podcasts, and this is a whole nother level for us here. So
we're excited about it because gardeners have questions they need answered right away.
Exactly.
Like, what's that bug on my plant? Or what do I do when my leaves in my squash are starting to look like someone dusted them with talcum powder? And there's easy solutions.
Or what do you do when your chicken poops in Joanne's office?
You
clean it up fast.
Hazmat.
Yeah.
Hazmat
for cleanup on aisle 4.
Yeah,
exactly. That's right. That's a wet one, too. And how did you guys get into gardening in the first place? And obviously, you've been doing it quite a while.
We got 2 different stories, so I'll let Craig start his story, and then I'll tell you mine.
Yeah, I had no idea I was ever going to be doing anything like this. I was actually in computers for 18 years, and I had a company in Southern California. We sold that, moved here to Black Forest, and bought 10 acres to kind of hide out. And
nice.
My wife said, let's get 6 chickens as a kind of an experiment. It'll be fun with the kids. And I said, oh, that's a bad idea. We shouldn't do that. I had visions of me standing out in waist deep snow trying to feed chickens.
You didn't buy that house in there with the intent to farm?
No.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then my wife went and saw the movie Food Inc., and then it was game on. And she's like, we're going to start growing stuff. And 2 years later, we had a full working farm called the Joyful Note.
You had a cow?
We had cows. We had chickens. We had 500 chickens. We had pigs. We had
goats?
We had a raw goat milk dairy.
Wow.
Yeah, he would milk the goats. They had this place that was warmed enough so that I get it. Why? Do goats not like a cold barn?
No, it's nothing to do with the goats. It's about me.
Oh, it's about you. Okay.
It's cold out there.
It's always about the master.
The goats live outside.
Works.
I don't live outside.
I mean, if you have cold hands and you touch a goat, I just wondered what...
It never ends well.
Oh, it never ends
I'm thinking
well.
not. I'm thinking that could end with a
Now, did you make some cheese with your...
We made cheese. Yeah, we did all kinds of stuff. And we had never farmed in our life, so we kind of, we're the YouTube generation, so we just watched YouTube videos and read books.
But you blogged a lot. I mean, you posted a lot and let everybody know your progress as a new farmer.
Yeah.
Which I enjoyed because I watched his journey, and he made some mistakes, but he wasn't afraid to share them with others so that we all could learn by it. Other people don't like to share what went wrong, and Craig just put it all out there. And I admire you for that because a lot of us learned listening.
By my stupid mistakes?
Yeah. Really.
Yeah.
Well, we try not to make any, but we still do.
When you're farming, it's a totally different sport, but it's actually one of the most rewarding things I've ever done, and it was incredibly difficult, and but we loved every minute of it.
Well, I certainly believe that, because at our house we've done the same thing. We really started last year, and this year is our second year, so we're kind of just gearing up. We're sort of rookies still,
right?
But we've had some really great progress, particularly with the basil.
Yeah,
and obviously we've done fairly well with that. We're doing pretty well with the tomatoes this year. We're doing pretty well with the zucchini. We're doing well with the cucumbers. We're doing well with the yellow squash, and we're hoping the butternut squash comes up soon.
Well, good.
Yeah, and that's what really part of our show is about, is to take people who are either you're already growing something, and we want to help you take it to the next level by adding more, edible landscape, adding livestock or micro livestock like bees or goats or chickens. And then, if you haven't started yet, we're there to help you kind of get that first garden going. And Larry is an amazing gardener. I mean, he's forgotten more about gardening than I'll ever know and growing things, but he has been a huge advocate here in the Front Range, running Pikes Peak Urban Gardens and teaching people how to farm and grow all up and down the Front Range.
It's tricky, as you know, Paul.
Yes.
I mean, it's tricky. That basil can go from looking good, and the first frost, it's going to be gone.
Right.
So, if you want extra pesto, people are going to have to be watching that weather forecast. And if you lived up in Woodland Park, you could have gotten a touch of frost, I think.
That's right. I talked to the folks up in Cripple Creek this morning. Leslie Harris.
Did it frost up there?
It was 38 degrees
38,
overnight,
so it's cold. And by the way,
chilly.
after 40 degrees and below, basil starts to turn brown, and it's not so good. So it's a real tender plant. So we can help people with little tips that we've learned. We've made some mistakes along the way and tried to learn by it.
And Larry, you never gave us your story. How did you get into this?
It started when I was 5 years old. Now,
Really?
I'm not going to go up to my age where I am now, but I remember the day that it happened. I was staying in Detroit. I was staying overnight with my brother and sister at my grandmother's house, and my grandfather took me out in the garden one sunny summer morning, and we took out his pocket knife and cut into a ripe tomato.
Oh.
And both of us just bit into that. No salt or anything. And it was just the most delicious thing I had ever tasted in my life. And from that point on, I was hooked.
You were hooked.
So, it was like me and Grandpa learning how to grow together. So, of course, I immediately went home and dug up part of our backyard.
Of course.
And parents said, as soon as you abandon that, you're going to have to turn it back into grass. And I never did,
You never abandoned it.
Never abandoned
Good
it.
for
I
you.
enjoyed it. And throughout, from 5 years on, I've been growing and all organically and really enjoyed it. And then after retired from being an educator, I was teaching, a chemistry teacher, and then a school administrator. And after 35 years, I said, I just want to share what I've learned with others, to others, how to grow. And this is a tricky climate.
It is, very much so.
Yeah, so you left Detroit where stuff grows
Yeah.
to come here.
Well, even though it's a little more northerly, it did have a milder climate than we do here. And and the variability of our climate is really what makes it tricky. I mean, some people say that it can go from winter to summer and it's all in the same day. And and that's the tricky part, is to be prepared for that. So,
and also the quality of the soil, which is
the quality of the
iffy.
soil. And we're so big on having really great soil, and teaching people how to properly amend and building good compost piles. So it's kind of a fun journey.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you about compost coming up here in a minute. 9:17 here at KRDO News Radio. We'll be back with Larry and Craig coming up right after this here on KRDO. Stay with us. Welcome back to the show. It is the Extra here on KRDO News Radio, and we are thrilled to have with us in studio Larry Stebbins and Craig McHugh. They are the hosts of the Urban Farm and Garden Show, which you can hear right here on KRDO News Radio every single Saturday. Guys, once again, it's been a delight to have you here. Now, tell me about these onions, Larry. These are absolutely gorgeous.
Well, they're a little immature, but you can harvest onions at any time of the way.
Chick Norris wants to say hi.
Yeah, can you hear the chicken in the background? Great sound
Chick
effects.
has a lot to say today.
Yeah, she's happy. She wants to get out and lay an egg here. But we grow onions, and the thing is, there's a lot of different varieties of onions that we'll be sharing with our listeners. But long story short is these are sweet onions, and they're called day neutrals. They grow.
What does that mean?
Well, it means that the bulb does not get affected by the day length.
Okay.
So in other words, some onions like short days, some onions like long days in order to form a big bulb. These don't care. So we grow these here because they grow well in the middle part of the United States. And they're sweet, so we have candy, Candy Apple Red, and we have Superstar White. And they are just wonderfully sweet. I mean, this is a great story. We had a farmer's market at one of the elementary schools in Broadmoor. And the kids came with like $1 in their pocket.
Sure.
After school, they were to buy anything there that they saw. We saw one kid buy one of our candy onions and eat it like an apple.
Oh my gosh, no kidding.
It was that sweet. It was that sweet. And I got a picture of it. It was just amazed me because I didn't think a kid would take a bite out of an onion like that.
You don't expect
But they are
that.
so sweet. There's no pungency to them at all, really.
Wow.
So we're going to have Paul have a bite of one right now?
Well, we could. It's this one right there.
I do have some Diet Dew to kind of wash it
Yeah, but
down.
the thing about sweet onions is they don't store well.
Right,
right. The long storage onions are the ones that are really pungent because of the sulfur compounds allow them to kind of like prevent them from rotting, which is a good thing.
Well, and obviously, Larry, your chemistry background has really
He
helped you.
Mr. Sciences out all the time. Yeah, that's serious.
But that's got to help. I mean,
It served me well.
chemical composition of soil and those kinds of things.
Well, and soil's so important around here, and anybody who knows that, it ain't Kansas here.
No.
And the soil around here is mostly, decomposed granite. Sometimes if you're in the Briargate area, it's all sand. And then some parts of town are just totally clay. And I mean, it's just amazingly difficult. So, you want to make sure, that when you start a garden that you really consider, that the soil has to be prepared properly.
Right. And what are the things that we need to do? I mean, is the organic route a la dung? Is that where we want to go, or do we want to use compost? How do we do that?
Well, I think the best thing is compost, Paul.
Okay.
Because it's already been pre-digested by the microbes. It's just like when you eat food, you can't take an apple and just put it into your veins and say, "Feed my body."
Right.
You have to digest
chew it up.
And just like that, if you use animal manures or plant products that aren't fully decomposed, it's not ready for the plant to uptake. So the composting process really is a big pile of, brown and green things, and they decompose into good, rich-looking soil, and you add that to your soil, and it's all ready for the plants to absorb. So that's the best thing to add. And I know you said you had, 3?
Chick Norris seems...
Yeah, we have 3.
3 compost
piles.
Now
Chick Norris says dung's not bad either, though.
No, chick manure is good.
Chicken manure, but not too hot. Not right out of the chicken.
Not out of the chicken. It's hot.
Yes.
So, if you put chicken manure, it will probably burn your plants.
Oh, really?
Oh,
yes.
So we use livestock. We're talking cows and horses.
Well,
Chick
chicken
disagrees.
manure is good if you compost it. If you add a little bit to your compost pile in one of the layers, I think that's a good thing to do. And then wait 3 or 4 months before you use it in your soil. Or you can add it to your soil in the fall and then mix it in. And by springtime, it'll be just the right state for your plants to use. But we like antibiotic and hormone-free cow manure.
Which is hard to find. It's
I would
very
imagine it
difficult.
is.
Because if you think about where are you going to get enough cow manure in one spot that it's harvestable, it's generally in a feedlot. So
we have to go out to like Oakley, Kansas.
Yeah, or there we work with Calicrate beef. He does a lot of antibiotic and hormone free. You can get some of his stuff.
Mike's a great guy.
Mike does a great job at that, but be aware of not all compost, not all fertilizers are equal.
Okay. Yeah, and that's important. And around town, there's a lot of people who raise llamas and alpacas,
right?
And that is a great fertilizer. They treat those animals like they're pets,
right?
So they're feeding them really good stuff. It's amazing. So you're going to be able to get some good manure if you get, and they usually give it away.
Do they?
So yeah.
Well, listen, guys, I hate to stop this
that's
because
right.
I'm having a great time, but we will definitely have you back. Best of luck with the show. We're glad to have you on board, and I'll be calling you for advice because I need a lot of it.
Well, get up early, but we think there's going to be
6
some farmers and gardeners that are going to be up with us, and we're looking forward to this.
They're hardcore.
It's going to be great. Guys, thanks for coming by. We'll
Paul.
do it again real soon.
Thank you, Paul.
Larry Stebbins, Craig McHugh, they are the hosts of the Urban Farm and Garden Show, which you can hear 6 a.m. Saturday mornings right here on KRDO News Radio. More of the Extra after this.